Hitepu. Hitepu. Assalamualaikum. Namaste. Harun Nefer. This is Kazank Maya Keperu with another video for you. In this video, I want to talk about how the truly dysfunctional will inherit the earth. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live or upload recorded videos. And then consider becoming a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1 or $5 per month. You can cancel at any time and you'll get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, things like how to perform an oracle reading, how to do a ritual, proper breathing techniques, how to put together a magical amulet, all that and more good stuff. Lastly, we do have free ebooks that you can download right now, start reading more on this subject and expand your knowledge on the spiritual and 5D. Just go to links below, click on those links and just start downloading right away. So let's get into this subject matter at hand. I don't want to make this a long video, but I do want to make this a very informative video. And I really hope I don't go off into a tangent because my person, not my true self, but my person is a little bit frustrated because I continually get emails from individuals. And these are not just the regular laymen and laywomen who are asking me to cite references, to provide them information. But yet I refuse to do so simply for the fact that they are continuing the status quo. They don't really understand the knowledge that I'm putting forth. And all they're interested in doing is to reinforce the dysfunctionalism that is so pervasive out there in the world. Now, you may not be the purveyors or the architects of this corrupt society or system, but the mere fact that you are contributing to it by thinking out the same foundation or paradigm, the mere fact that you're working within that structure means that you're an advocate for the dysfunction of today's society. Let me give you a case in point, and so I can bring this home. Years ago, I studied with a lot of the top scholars. And one of the things I told them as they were going on a lecture circuit, I said, if you continue to dispense this information via lecture and not create a way of life for us to live, you're going to do more harm than good. And so lo and behold, that's exactly what they did, because although they preached against the Greek methodology of teaching, the information that they dispensed was using the same framework as the Greek system, yet they couldn't see that. So the very thing that they preached against was the very thing that they were doing and advocates of. And I'm going to explain this, and hopefully that you'll all understand what is going on and why the planet is under arrest, because many of us don't get it. And I am at a point where I am like, wow, should I even really be teaching? Because I feel like what's coming out of my mouth is going through one ear and coming out the other, because the people are not getting it. And they're not getting it because I can see from the emails and the discourses they want to have with me that they're all everywhere, but they're not attacking the core of the problem. And I continually try to bring this home, but people don't get it because people are caught up in their Sahu spirit, their emotionalism. And when you caught up in your emotionalism, your IQ drops. So what are you? You're stupid and dysfunctional. Get it together, people. And again, I'm not talking about my magi's or the masses of people who tune in on this YouTube channel. I'm talking about those people who want to claim that they're scholars, claim that they're teaching Kemetic wisdom and knowledge, who don't know jack. Some of these people are sending me information, and on the headlines of white people are this and they're that. And I'm like, that's not really what the Kemetic people were about. They never really took a position where they were vilifying a whole entire race of people. That's not what they were about. So how do you claim to be following in their wisdom and their knowledge? You're just as dysfunctional as the people that created the virus, racism. You're just as delusional and sick as the very people who are the 1% who rule this planet today. How can you not see that? Listen, there are two great quotes that you should write down and commit to memory. They're fantastic. The first one is by Judah Krishnamurti, and he says, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." You need to understand that we are sick, we are dysfunctional. And everything that you do from that point of view or that perspective will be skewed. It will be contributing to a sick society because you're sick. How are you sick? Let me take this further to the quote of Einstein. We cannot solve a problem with the same thinking or mindset used to create it. We are under the guise, we are polarized in left brain concrete thinking. If you don't move to right brain, integrated brain thinking, which I have been talking ad nauseum about this, then your premise will be off. Even the Greek scholars, toward the end, came to this conclusion and understanding. Do you not get that? We were brought up, nurtured, conditioned, mind controlled in a system based on Hegelianism, which is not the rightful thinking process for people on this planet. We were indoctrinated into the Hegelian dialectic, which has caused us to be insane. Let me define it for you. First off, by telling you what dialectic is. Dialectic method is a discourse between two or more people holding different points of view about a subject, but wishing to establish the truth through reasoned arguments. Like that can arrive at truth. All right, whatever. Dialectic resembles debate, but the concept excludes subjective elements such as emotional appeal and the modern pejorative sense of rhetoric. Dialectic may be contrasted with the didactic method, wherein one side of the conversation teaches the other. Dialectic is alternatively known as a minor logic as opposed to a major logic or critique. Within Hegelianism, the word dialectic has the specialized meaning of a contradiction between ideas that serves as a determining factor in their relationship. Let me say this again. With Hegelianism, the word dialectic has the specialized meaning of contradiction between ideas that serve as the determining factor in their relationship. You are taught to hate something that is the opposing opposite of what you are. You are told that there is an external thing that opposes you. Ancient traditional cultures of antiquity never preached this. They preached holism, holistic thinking, integrated brain thinking, that there is nothing contradictory. Everything is complementary. The great I-ching oracle tells us everything serves to further. Why are we not getting that? You have been set up to operate from a framework of thinking that will destroy you, that is not life affirming. What is it that you don't get? When you send me nonsense about white people are this, white people are that, black people are this, you have engaged in the Hegelian dialectic. You have engaged in a paradigm of thinking that is not natural to people on the planet. What is wrong with you? You have been taught to manufacture an enemy where there is no enemy. The Hegelian dialectic is a premise, an antithesis, And then you arrive at the truth through what they call as a synthesis. But you have been fooled into thinking that there is an antithesis, there is an opposite, there is a contradictory mode of thinking. People, that is not the way it is. I'm trying to tell you. I am trying to tell you that the only thing that truly exists is my illusion is you. You. And everything else is a product of your power, your manifestation. You are creating an enemy where there is no enemy. You have engaged in a mode of thinking that is false, that is causing you to be schizophrenic. What is schizophrenic? You have created an alternate paradigm, alternate version of yourself for which to engage in a battle. You have become sick in the mind. This is why if you read my book, The New Capital Art, The Key to Manifesting Your Own Reality, I talk about different modalities of thinking. And one of them I talk about is the Portnaturu, the Ongar, the company of the gods that the ancient Egyptian people created because it classified different modalities of thinking. The lower you are on the lower levels, meaning the animal nature within you, you will operate out of the segregative left brain faculty, which is concrete in nature, meaning it only sees things from an external perspective. Segregative, meaning it sees separation between things, where our ancient ancestors were more of a synthesis thinker. Ma'at level is synthesis. Let me go through it so you understand. Sebek is segregative thought process that dominates the world. It's concrete thinking, okay? Heteru is congregative thinking, bringing things together based on concrete thinking, based on externals. Ma'at is synthesis thinking, bringing things together based on abstracts. Harukahuti is analogical thinking, analysis based on abstract thinking, okay? Separating things based on abstractions. We cannot solve a problem with the same thinking used to create it. You cannot say that the people out there are white supremacists and flip the script and preach black superiority and think that you are solving the problem. When I talked about in my book, The New Capital Art, the development of civilizations, I said that you have to take into consideration geo-development. What do I mean by geo-development? The location of where races develop, because that had a major impact on not just the hue, color, or the phenotype, which is what these low-level ignorant people really want to focus on, but it talked about the development of the hemispheres of the brain. It talked about how people who were developed in or came forth from a tropical warm climate developed right brain, integrated brain thinking. People who came from a colder climate developed from the left brain way of thinking. The two different ways of thinking are filters that actually create a pseudo reality. It is known in NLP as the metaframe. The metaframe is the frame in which you see everything. If the meta frame from which you operate is the left brain, then you will see everything separate, and that you will see that what is outside of you as an opposing factor to you. If you operate from the meta frame of the right brain, then you will congregate or have a type of synthesis thinking where you will see everything as one and everything as an integral part of the whole. Let me read to you how this works. The segregated thought process, the faculty for the perception of equality will be named the segregated faculty. When we focus on how things are equal, we do so through their defining characteristics. We are thus rendering them finite. This is why people who are segregated in thought process see God as not infinity or an infinite being, but one that is finite. They assign a quality to God. They assign a pronoun. God is male. Moving forward, the congregative faculty, through similarities derived from appearances, we're able to congregate dissimilar things. It is important to note that this faculty, as it is allied to sense perception, sensory input, is part of concrete thinking. Going further, the analytical faculty, in every instance, we are separating things from each other by extracting certain categories, abstract ideas, out of others. The process involves abstract thinking all the way, synthesis thinking. Just as analysis properly defined involves abstraction categories, so does synthesis. The examination of certain types, things thus classified, will reveal interrelationships and interdependence in a hierarchical arrangement between the categories. So not only does the right brain, the ma'at faculty of thinking, not only is it synthesis and works through interrelationships and interdependencies, but it works through a hierarchical order, which is where we get cosmology, which our ancestors mastered. Do you not see how sick we are as a society? Do you not see how the ruling elite has created this virus called racism to separate? Because you know what? It's easier to divide and conquer. So they had to create this thing called racism. They have to create factionalism through political, religious affiliations. And then you come along claiming to solve the problem, but you only contribute to the problem. And then you ask me a stupid question, which is better, left brain or right brain thinking? Which are really saying, who's better, white people or black people? If you understood integrated brain thinking, it thinks in terms of hierarchical cosmological order, meaning that there is a framework of thinking that is dependent. Get what I'm saying? It is dependent on what is needed for that particular time. In other words, none is better than the other. They are a development so that the function of the whole can work properly. You cannot function just using the left brain. You cannot function with just using the right brain. You have to function using both sides of the brain. They're integral parts of the whole. They are necessary for the whole to function correctly. If you don't have both of them working correctly, then you have a skewed perspective on things. This is why when I go into forums, when I go into lectures, and they immediately start talking nonsense about who's better, we were better in our ancient times and all this, I excuse myself from that environment because I won't engage in that. I'm tired of that. That has not worked. That has destroyed the planet. Do you not see that? I'm not playing that game. It is the mythical hydra. You cut one head off, it grows another head until you get to the core. Just like I say, you cannot change behavior by verbal discourse. You have to go into the subconscious mind using trance induction or hypnosis. That is the only way you can change a person's behavior. You can talk them to death and they still will not change because you're talking to the faculty, the hemisphere of the brain that cannot control change. The left brain does not change behavior. It is the right brain that does that. I'm giving you the keys to solve the problems of this planet, and people keep asking me the same stupid questions because they want to contribute to the problems. I can't be a part in that. One of the people on the planet that knew the answer and the solution to all of this was the ancient Chinese people, the Knack, which is why they developed in their divine wisdom the I-ching, the book of changes, things like the anthology of the I-ching, such as holistic medicine, the Yellow Emperor's classic of internal medicine, because they departed from the traditional Cartesian logic, which talks about that everything in life has a one-to-one correlation. It does not. It does not. The idea of linear time-space comes out of a left brain faulty mode of thinking. Let me say it again. It comes out of a left brain faulty mode of thinking. You now know, modern quantum physicists know that time is an illusion, that there is no time. So there is no such thing as linear time space. The ancient Chinese people knew this. They came up with a system that could have saved the planet called holistic medicine, holistic perspective. The African people came up with holistic principles, ideologies that were not based on a Cartesian logic, that were not based on linear time and space. In fact, they were based on nonlinear time space, based on cycles, rhythms, energies. Meaning holistic, meaning you consider the ecology and how things fit within the whole. You not look at things sequentially. You do not look at things concretely. The secrets of the universe can only be extrapolated through abstract thought process. The concrete will deceive you because it's Maya, it's an illusion. Our Indian ancestors told us that. Wayne, race was created by John Frederick Blumenbach in 1779. Silly foundation of any argument, continue to share. I can't speak any further. I mean, I've said this over and over and over again, and these people are not getting it. You, my magi's, get it, but you need to proselytize this information. You need to covet this religion, if you want to call it a religion or spirituality, and go out there and share it with people and tell them the truth. That we are not going to get out of this by concrete thinking. It's not going to happen by instituting laws to protect certain classes, by giving more privilege to the privileged, or taking on the victim mentality. It's not going to happen. It's not. You have to tell them it's going to be where we move the planet from left brain to right brain, integrated brain thinking. When we do that, there will be a vibratory shift. The vibrational frequency of the planet will change, and then we will see that we'll move into an alternate parallel reality where things will be harmonious. That is the only way it can happen. And it's not going to come for us indoctrinating ourselves into Cartesian logic, where we think to address this, there has to be that one-on-one relationship where we have to either protest, where we have to play to PAC committees or political action committees. No, it's not going to work that way. Or we have to get involved in a military coup d'etat. No, it's not going to work that way. It's going to come from indirect action, meaning you meditating, you adapting a new framework for thinking, and that vibration that you give off will resonate within the planet and start to change things. That's called the Maharishi effect, where they did a test, a study where they gathered about a number of thousands of people to meditate on world peace. And what they found miraculously was that wars stopped, terrorism stopped. Interesting. Research that. Let me say hi to the Magi's in the chat room real quick. Mike Atepu, Carnetta, Namaste, Harmony, Haru Nefer, Wayne, Atepu, Suan, Namaste, Haru, Taha, Haru, wonderful name, Hetep. All right. What's up, doorkeeper? Sebek is the doorkeeper. You know that? Namaste. Hangai Stone, Hetep. Good to see you. So, my brothers and sisters of all races, all persuasions, all genders, please pass this information off. Please be passionate and get out there and let them know what's going on. Because these 1%ers who are ruling the planet are doing so by occult magic. They're not doing so by physical might. That's the illusion. See, they want to give you the idea that all this is put in place by either laws or military operation. It's not necessarily so. Yes, there's some degree of that taking place, but they're behind the scenes doing occult rituals to mess with your mind, to create the illusion of this third dimensional reality. This third dimension is the reality of duality. They want to create duality, but you fight to get into 5D where there is non-duality, where everything is one. Because duality sets you up for something to oppose you. It creates a false enemy. And this government does it all the time. Now they're claiming Iran as the enemy. And Iran shot down one of the United States drones that came within its borders. And the United States is saying, no, that drone didn't, it was in international waters. And, of course, the United States never lies, So they're trying to provoke something with Iran, but you understand, as I've always said, every time a new president comes into office, one of the first things they'd have to do is they have to start a war, because we're looking at colonial expansion. We're looking to dominate and control the planet. So you have to have these wars. You have to go and overtake democratically elected leaders. You don't want them doing the right thing for their people. You don't want that happening, no. They've got to be puppets of the government, our government. So I want to thank you, Madras, for tuning in. I hope this message finds you well. My name is Kasank Maha Keperu, son of Maat and Tahuti. My aunt is a beautiful goddess, Hedaru. Until my next broadcast, Amun Ra.